Hi everyone, I am back from Disneyland and I am going to show you guys the process for this page. It was originally done by Susan Weinroth and it says that I printed out the sketch back in April of 2012, so I can't tell you what gallery it's from, but I just know that it is definitely from one of the Studio Calico galleries, and the page has this large sunburst pattern in the middle of it, and it's not something that she made on her own. I think it was a Kessie art paper that was originally had a pinwheel, not necessarily a pinwheel, but a sunburst type of pattern on it. So I just used a dinner plate to cut out my circle, which I find to be too small. So if I end up doing this page at some point again for my other son, I will keep that. I used an older collection by My Mind's Eye, and it is the Alphabet Soup Boy collection. And I've used quite a lot of this collection in the past for other pages, so I have just bits and scraps left over. So I ended up cutting out two separate circles, one for the template and then one to actually glue together all the pieces, and then they can be one big piece to help move it around the page where I wanted it. So, and the reason I went with the pink cardstock as the template is because I don't ever use I guess I just don't ever use this pink color at all. So I try to look for a paper in my stash that I don't use frequently and that I wouldn't mind cutting up and using it for something like this. So I'm just going through my pattern papers and I outline the shape and then I cut it out. I know some people can get it to where they glue the piece on the actual pattern paper and then they cut around it, but I find it easier for me if I just kind of trace it and then glue it. So I've used this collection a lot to the point where I don't have a full 12 by 12 sheet of pattern paper, which is great. I like being able to actually use up all of one collection, and then I feel like, I get my money's worth out of it, even though I know I purchased this collection way back when and it was on sale for like maybe $3 or something like that. I think I actually got it from cropchocolate.com back when I used to shop from them frequently. So, and I am still cutting out the pattern papers. I wasn't really particular about what color went where, just as long as there wasn't the same color next to each other. So, and all the blocks are a different size. I kind of just went through and I didn't care if the center was directly in the center of the circle, just because I knew that I was going to cover up the center with an embellishment. So I wasn't too concerned about everything meeting in the middle and it being exact, because by the time everything's glued together you can't even really tell. So going through more scraps here, I can't remember when's the last time I actually pulled this out. I have the girl collection too as well, so maybe I'll do another page like this for one of my nieces. I know I've been slacking on making girly pages for them, so I will have to put that on the list of things to do. And I would have loved to use my sewing machine in between the pattern papers. I think when you do a sunburst like this and you actually use a sewing machine and do like the zigzag stitch in between it, I feel like it really completes the page. But I'm having trouble with my sewing machine. I don't know what's going on, so it's kind of just collecting dust on my desk until I can have some spare time to actually figure out what's the problem. I think I had to rethread the bobbin, but I'm not quite sure. So, and I did this page late at night while everybody else was sleeping, so I wasn't able to kind of go over the supplies that I pulled, that I usually do in the beginning. So, but that's okay. Now, everything, like I was saying, I wasn't really concerned about it being exact, and so there was still some pink showing after I glued everything down, but that's okay, because I was only using a portion of this big circle sunburst anyways. Now, what am I doing? Oh, I'm finding washi tape for the bottom, and there's this star washi tape again that I'm still having problems with, but I was able to make it work. If I pull it slowly, it doesn't rip, so I guess that's the key to it. And then I used another a skinnier washi tape above it, and it is an orange type of washi tape with alphabets written all over it. So, and then some twinery twine in the stone color, and I had to use a regular stapler to staple the twine down because my tiny attacher, the Tim Holtz one, it broke on me. I don't know what I did. I went to go staple it one day and something snapped on the inside, and then I couldn't figure out how to get it fixed, so I didn't want to stress about it, and I just threw it away. So that is on the to buy list. At some point, whenever I make it back to Joann's and I remember to add it to my shopping cart. Now, this is that embellishment that I was talking about that I was going to cover the center with. It says Smile-O-Meter, and it is part of a chipboard set by K & Company. I got it as a gift one year, and I love this thing. It's got like a little metal arrow attached to it, and then around it says smirk, grin, and then ear to ear. So I'm cutting out a circle using my Martha Stewart circle cutter. I didn't want to chance the blade not going all the way through, since this is the only scrap piece of craft paper I could find. I didn't want it to ruin it, so instead of using the blade, I went ahead and I traced the circle with just my pencil and then cut it out. But I felt like the the embellishment was kind of blending in with all the rest of the paper, so I feel like the back craft circle there helped to make it pop. Plus, I put it up on Pop Dot, so it comes out a little bit more. That bottom journaling card there is also by My Mind's Eye, and it says my favorite things about you. It didn't come with this particular kit, but she used Susan Weinroth. She used a similar card as well. And then I pulled out a whole bunch of alphas from my stash here, some Prima, some Basic Gray, and some Studio Calico. Some of those you can see I actually haven't even used them, so it was really great that I could use these stickers here for my journaling. And since this was a sketch printed out in 2012, the journaling attached to it on the paper is actually from when my son was 19 months. There's no way I could have remembered all the little things about him at this age, so I'm really glad that I was able to write it down so that I could use it as a future page to do about him, over a year later. So if that, I don't know if that makes any sense. And I have so many printed out that I haven't even wrote any type of journaling for. I just have a whole bunch in a binder, and I really need to get back into doing that because I feel like I am missing out on some things, even though I do Project Life. I've been doing it not necessarily on a monthly basis, but I do let me back up. Okay, so I've been printing out pictures a month at a time, and I still do it weekly. So I just write down little notes in a notebook. That way I can kind of look back at it and figure it out. But I like doing my Project Life back to back, if that makes any sense. Especially since we've been going on vacation. It's been summer, and I didn't want to have to stress about, keeping up. So that's what I have been doing with my Project Life, and surprisingly, it's been working for me with these busy months. So the journaling I had originally printed out or wrote down were longer sentences than what I had room for, so I was going back and forth the paper, checking to see how I could make the sentences smaller to fit within these stickers and to fit within the space that in between the sunburst there. So I just used a variety of alphas, and this is the die cut sheet from the collection. I spend time fussing with this arrow and I actually don't end up using it, I pull out a whole bunch of arrows from Studio Calico and Freckled Fawn and mess with that for a little bit to see if I can't fit a cluster of wood veneer arrows there. I do eventually figure it out, and I adhere them down with some glue dots. Kind of too lazy to wait for paint to dry. Or not paint. Sorry. I've got paint on my brain because we're supposed to be painting pumpkins this afternoon. Sorry, I meant waiting for glue to dry. So there we go. Kind of like a row of arrows there. And then, what do I do next? Still trying to fit other little things. I think the only one that I missed was, at some point my son loved anything that fit in his hand, like anything tiny enough to fit in his hand, kind of like a spice jar or little toys or smaller toys, little figurines. He loved holding those in his hand, and I couldn't get that to fit there, so that's the only one I missed. But other than that, I think I got everything down that I had wanted to. And I was trying to go for a green, blue, and gray, plus wood grain, since there's a craft in the background. That's the letters that I pulled out. And they're from older Studio Calico collections and older Prima collections as well. I'm looking through my label stickers from My Mind's Eye and pull out this one that says details, details, details. And the thing I like about My Mind's Eye, and I guess it goes for every other manufacturer, to where they reuse colors constantly, to where all their collections, no matter how old or how new they are, they kind of go together, and that's really great. Like this one, it's on the Bright Side die cut sheet, and I am using the banners for the page, and the colors are roughly similar, if not, exact. So that's really great that you can, mix and match your old and new stash. Granted, both of these collections are old, but they didn't come out at the same time. So now I am just cutting up the little knobby things on the side, and then trying to figure out how to fit it there on the labels, or not the label, but on the journaling card, because I wanted to leave space to stamp the date, which is also from 2012. Yep, it's also from 2012. So this is a sticker from the Snap collection. It says enjoy the everyday, and I kind of just wanted a space to cover up in between the washi tape, the picture, and the journaling card, so it fit really nicely and the colors went. And it's such a small sticker that it didn't really throw off the page. So I pulled out a couple of sequins to add to the page. I had pulled 2 blue ones and then realized one of the blue sequins was not the right color, so I ended up pulling out a green one. So here I am, just kind of, not necessarily scattering them, but putting them in different places around the page. And I am using glue dots again to adhere them down. And I know that glossy accents would work just fine. I move things around so much that I didn't want to have to wait, and just in case it moves. So am I done? No. Oh, I ended up using some stamps because I felt like the craft background wasn't enough. So I pulled out an Allie Edwards stamp by Technique Tuesday, and this was a travel themed, and I went ahead and I curved the stamp so that it would fit around the circle. That one there says see the big world, or see the big wide world. The other one says the best of times, and I was able to fit it between the circle there and the journaling card. And I'm using Hero Art's Soft Brown, which at first looked really bright, and then once it dried, it looked like the craft color, which was what I thought the soft sand would be too light, so that's why I went with the soft brown. Is it soft brown? I keep saying soft brown. And then I used this arrow from another Allie Edwards stamp. I think this was this month's stamp. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, with going on vacation, stuff is ending up at my door, and I haven't even had a chance to play with them. So I used the arrow there to just kind of finish it off. I wanted it to kind of go around the page. And then this is a flare that says Shazam from Basic Gray. I think it's the Hey Boy collection. And then I was looking for other things to add from my stash on my desk. I like to keep the things close to me that I want to finish up. And it's just an epoxy heart that I put there on the picture. I looked around a little bit more just in case I wanted to add anything else, but I didn't. I figured the page was done, and I really like how it turned out. So I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye!